Inevitably in life, people will want to put you down, people will want to keep you down, or people will want to make you subservient, or they want to think that you're not as good as them, or whatever way the ego affects them. Just because others think they're strong does not mean you're weak. And just because others think you're weak does not mean they're strong. It's a simple motto to live by. It's basically to keep yourself humble, keep yourself grounded, but at the same time let people know that you're capable, that you've got some worth and some value, and you're not going to be undermined by anybody, basically. Hi, my name's Kurt Scott. I'm a Chinese martial arts practitioner from Dublin, Ireland. I practice a style called Lung Dragon style, very rare and old traditional style from China. I'm also a qualified practitioner of Chinese herbalism and acupuncture, with a very successful clinic based here in Dublin. Again, I would always say that the benefits way outweigh the input, or the hardship. Yeah, you're going to have to train hard, you're going to have to do a lot, but the benefits are they're life-changing. With the Lung Ying, and certainly for myself even, it becomes more than just a hobby, it becomes a way of life that transforms and translates its way into every avenue of your life. So whether it be your working life, your professional life, your marriage, your kids, whatever, everything you do is nearly informed by the principles you've learned from the day one of the system. So you use that kind of level of ethics that you've learned to inform your decisions, and it builds confidence, and it builds awareness, and yeah, I suppose it builds a better person. The top character means dragon, and the bottom character means shaped. And when the students join, this is what you'd be looking to attain, is the shape of the dragon, or the live power of the dragon. Lung Ying Dragon style. That's why it's on the front door. So we just powered up. So yeah, I'll just bring us around. You can have a quick look. So obviously this is the training space. We've got about 70 feet here, which you need for the particular style. So the first thing we met with is a set of rules. Now it's not that we're over the top of that, but we do expect the skill to be respected. So we all have respect for each other. We don't tolerate any aggression in the class towards each other. There's obviously has to be respect for the Sifu. So there's obviously only one Sifu, and his word is final. This right here to be a traditional altar, I suppose, for most martial arts, Chinese martial arts, Kung Fu studios, or Kung Fu Kun as they're known as, martial hall. So a number of these things here, not to be mistaken for anything religious, these are more just to do with where the systems came from. Most of them came from Taoist and Buddhist backgrounds. So you'll see here we have General Kuan Gung. So he was a real life character that basically conquered the best part of China, looked after China in terms of getting rid of a lot of the bad warlords. The Buddha was the symbol of prosperity and happiness. That's why he's kind of overweight, so he's well fed. He's happy in himself, he's content in his life, and he's surrounded by the kids, so he's very happy. So this is the dragon. So we would always have the dragon on the altar, being hence with dragon style, the dragon style system. And then like we have these here, these are basically altar prayers. So without going into too much detail, these basically protect the hall and reflect back out bad energy, if you want to say. So they make sure that the hall is, you know, is prosperous and there's good energy in it. Basically what you see here on the traditional altar, again in Chinese Kung Fu culture, is the grandmasters, but these are all past masters, so they're the masters that would have passed on. So basically the ones that came before us and left a mark on the style through the years. It'd be very traditional to have these and to pay homage to them and respect them. So again, as I say, we'll be honouring what we call the deities, the Kung Fu royalty, and then the past masters, I suppose. And also then you'll see down here we have another small one, and this is just really to do with, it's a floor prayer really, and everything in the universe based on Taoism has an energy, and the energy on the ground or the energy on the floor is being honoured here, and making sure that again the building is you know, quite prosperous and quite sacred. So that's kind of the altar taken care of. So that's the first thing we do generally when we enter the hall every evening before training, is to honour the past masters and honour the altar. A training session is usually 2 hours. Within that 2 hours, you'll be going through some of the stuff you're seeing on the video. So you'll be doing your walks, what we call the lunging ma. So you'll be practicing your stance walk initially. The idea being that you can't always be the strongest guy in the fight, you can't be the biggest guy, so how are you going to deal with the guy? Well, simply put, we use our heads, we use our smarts. Practicing the walks, the correct movement, getting the grounding right. If the foundation is strong and built right, then everything else is going to click into place in the future. It's going to be good and strong. Everything comes from the waist. So opposed to somebody that will just punch from the shoulder, we will come from the waist. So we generate all the power through the waist. If you don't want to end up in a battle with them to see who's strongest and who's going to give first, okay? You can just rue, but you're dependent on your stance being fairly strong then. And they can apply a lot of techniques for break and stance, which is to come around the leg, trap it, and then try and pull the foot away, you see it? So as you pull the foot away and push back, the guy will go, even if he's strong. So what are you going to do? You're going to have to stop him really quickly, yeah? So if Aaron grabs my front leg, okay, what the lunging do is we trap. So we'll hold the head, side Q. Okay, we trap here, bang, okay, we push him away and we hit him again to the air, okay? So there'll be a lot of drilling stance walk, building the muscles, building the postures. Then he'll be doing single techniques, so just basically learning single hand techniques, how to position the hands, how to use them, how to grab, how to strike, how to trap. Real time as he punches, yeah, so how to block, how to counter, how to deflect. So you'll be learning all these basics kind of early on. That's cow peg. Punch again, boy again, punch again, Sam tongue, okay? Punch again, okay? More cup. So these are all explosive type movements, yeah, okay? They take a long time, the style is quite complicated, the movements are quite complex, so it takes a while to kind of nail them. If you want to actually use this as a self-defense or something that can actually get you out of a jam fairly quickly, I can guarantee you, if I was to attack Aaron now, or Aaron was to attack me, it won't be slow, okay? Fights don't happen slow. They're manic, they're crazy. Fights generally happen here, your man, boom, 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 boom. You're getting here, punches, bang, 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 bang. This is how a fight will happen. If you're not equipped to fight at that speed, But then it doesn't happen. So if Arden punches, yeah, you see it? He's already struck, okay? Right, so what would have happened there was Arden struck, I would have hit him, and this punch wouldn't even bother me. More than likely, he wouldn't have got to deliver it, he would have dropped, he would have been poleaxed by the first move, yeah? If he did get to block it or to throw it, didn't matter. It came out and blocked it anyway, and I would have reacted. So once you kind of get familiar with that, and at this stage you might already be 18 months to 2 years in the style, then you'll kind of start doing forms, and you'll start with the basic sets, which are actually really, really important. So you learn how to move. The style was kind of, I suppose, developed around the concept of fighting multiple opponents. It kind of has a bit of a military background. We can go into that later on. And then later on in the style, the forms become a little bit more advanced, obviously, and you're expected that your power range will go up and your speed will increase, and your awareness of movement will increase. And then we start into hands. After the advanced hand forms, then we start into weapons. So you'll start learning weapon forms. You know, it depends on the skill of Lung Ying, but generally in my skill, I'll start with something simple. So I'll start with something like the pole, which you showed, just the short staff, or the short pole. Very simple, stick weapon, very easy to use. So you'll start with that, build your confidence up around weapons with that. After that, you'll start using some of the bladed weapons. So you'll start using, you know, the longer weapons, the spear, the kwando. Then you'll start using swords and things like that. So it's a progression, but it does take time, it does take a long time. The idea is that the weapon is an extension of the hand. So every movement you can do with the weapon generally is just an extension of a hand movement. So first you got to build the core, you got to build the frame, you got to build the structure around the hands first, that you know what you're doing, before you can start moving the weapon with a bit of confidence. You need a lot of power, I suppose, in the wrists later on in the Lung Ying. So this would be the traditional long pole. This one's basically almost to my height. It's a little bit tall for me. It should be to your fingertips, but I don't mind the extra little bit of length. The traditional long pole in Lung Ying, which not many people has learned, but again, it's held right down on the butt of the pole with the pad of the palm wrapping over it, so it takes a lot of strength to hold it. So generally what you would get the students doing that would have the honour of learning that, and it is a big honour, would be to practice the wrist strength of holding the pole out. So it takes a lot of power to hold the pole out, and you get them moving the pole around. And of course this pole is close on whatever, it's probably 7.5 feet. So it is quite heavy, as it's a type of mahogany. This is the set you learn when you become a Sifu. It's a benchmark form. Most people, if you try this, they mightn't even have the strength starting off just to lift the pole up with one hand. So once they get that, then as I say, it's moving the end of the pole. You can see it moving. That means there's energy traveling through the pole, and you're getting the level of qi, which is basically the Chinese word for energy. So you're getting the level of qi into the pole that's required. So again, a lot of strengthening movements, straight up. Doesn't really matter, you're just using the arm, just using the lever all the way up. That's very good actually, yeah. Straighten the pole, straighten the end of it. That's it, now you're at the holding point, yeah. So you can see it's quite difficult, yeah? Yeah. Okay, and then maybe try see if you can get the snap into it. As you come up, just drop your stance. So just drop down and just use that little flexion on the forearm on this one. Yeah, quite good, quite good. Yeah. And then you can go up to the red oak one, which is considerably heavier, much more dense piece of timber. So again, just lift straight up. This is not something most people can do. Straight up, straight lever. So you can see it's It's very difficult, yeah? What you're doing there just with the straining, this is how you would start developing the muscle.
Right, okay.
So you would just, literally, if you see the forearm, you would be just lifting from here up, just developing. So I can just barely get this one, but this is a ton weight. The length of this pole, just with your wrist, is not easy. So you would literally just develop from just little lifts, starting with the lightest pole, working your way up into the middle range, and then the heaviest one. Again, these ones that I was telling you about over in the weapons rack, some of those came from military, so they're basically, you know, cavalry weapons, army weapons, whatever you want to call it. And then we had some of the agricultural type stuff, so more farming type implements. This is from a tea house. This is where these came from. So you could picture, you know, this Chinese guy just sitting there as they would, just chilling out, having a cup of tea. And all of a sudden this thing was turned into a weapon. Generally would be held like so, and it'd have a large number of movements, swiping movements, coming this way and what have you.
So they were just benches to begin with?
Just benches to begin with, and people realised, oh geez, I could actually use this when I'm in the tea house and I get jumped. So it's quite nasty, yeah. So that's generally how we would teach it. Now I know there is other systems that practice weapons only, so they'll start with the weapon straight away. Our philosophy is that, you know, you got to master the hands before mastering the weapon, and it's a safety thing as well, because some of the weapons they're very sharp, they're very heavy, they're very unforgiving. It only takes one wrong move, and you know you can do a lot of damage to yourself or to others. So the weapons take time, but they do come, and as you've seen, we have quite a lot of them. We have a large selection, so the style is quite broad, quite wide ranging. There's a lot of diversity in it. The style is a Taoist system, so for anybody that knows about Taoism, it's a philosophy. Some will say it's a religion. It probably is now, but it was always a philosophy when it started out, and it's based around the whole principle of yin and yang, which is kind of duality, or the two opposing forces. So the forms are kind of similar in the sense you will see we have some very rooted, very strong, very powerful, very short power forms, but then we have some of the sword forms that kind of marry in some of the more flexibility and agility, kind of jumping around. So it kind of balances what we call the duality, balances the yin and yang, which is very important to have in life. As you get older, the thing that's going to keep you healthy and going to keep injury away and stop you aging as fast as you would if you didn't look after yourself is really flexibility. So when you have that flexibility in the body, your body just recovers quicker, it's less chance of getting injured. So hence why we have some of these kind of more subtle, free-flowing, agility-based kind of sets as well. So you'll do the whole lot. There's the full range there that you would have to master in Lung Ying, and it takes a long time, but not to be daunted by that. So these are basically just what we call a garden hoe. We use those in the styles because basically farmers had to protect themselves as well, so they came up with systems and ways and means, and they stayed within the Kung Fu systems over the years. I suppose what happened is, it's a number of years ago now, I had a bit of an idea or a concept of putting together a short documentary, kind of a docu-film on basically my own background and my own journey, I suppose. I thought some people might find it interesting. I've been around the martial arts for a long time now, almost 40 years. You know, I have a good grasp of Chinese Kung Fu. I've also, later on in life, my Pat took me onto the Chinese medicine, so I'm quite well known within Dublin and Ireland now for Chinese medicine, both Chinese herbal medicine and acupuncture. So between myself and my partner Amy, who works here with me,
We cover many therapies, from acupuncture, the pregnancy to massage, the Tuina, which is Chinese medical massage, holistic massage, Reiki, energy healing. So we do quite a lot of treatments.
A lot of people ask how we work together, live together and train together, but I think it's a combination of things. We have a lot of respect for each other as professionals. We can also have a good laugh, and I think they're two key things in any relationship.
I suppose to make the link between the Chinese medicine and the Kung Fu, firstly to say that most of the Kung Fu masters in China will have some knowledge, even if it's only little knowledge of traditional Chinese medicine that they will use in terms of Dida. So they will use this to keep their own students healthy and keep themselves healthy.
Most important thing in any hand conditioning or any guided disordering skills toolkit is this thing here. So this is my own brand, my Dragon Style Dida Jiao. It's based on a formula by my great grandmaster, my Si Tai Gong Chu Chung.
So I suppose in Kung Fu I've been learning for years how to damage that energy, so we know how to attack the limbs. So for argument's sake, if somebody's trying to punch or a kick at you, you would attack a specific channel with a block or a punch and destroy the energy within that limb. So the idea is that the person wouldn't be able to use the limb again during the course of the fight, and of course you'd come out triumphant. And as I always state, that would all be done in a self-defense mode, so you know, no aggression.
Unless you really don't like the guy, you don't want to use most of this stuff in a fighting context, yeah?
With those Jingla water, those meridians, what I realised very quickly from going to the college was that they could also, you know, be used to heal.
We've had clients coming in that literally can barely walk in the door, and by the time Kurt's finished with them, they're skipping out. So these are the sorts of clients that we just love having here, and we feel good when we've made someone feel that good, you know.
So it was only natural that at some stage through Kung Fu I was going to turn to this. I've always liked healing people. What's very important to me is to see people, you know, doing well. You know, I get a good feeling now of helping people and making sure that they're the best version of them. We do focus, as you say, on the meridians. So if you look around the wall here, these really old pictures I have here, these acupuncture posters, there's 7 of them in total, all relating to different Jingla Wa, different meridians. All of these were given to me by my herbal Sifu in Hong Kong, so these are quite the treasure. I do try to go through this with the students as well. So these are basically just like the 12 channels, or Jingla Wa as they're traditionally known, but basically acupuncture channels in simple English. I wanted to really explore that link between the kind of the fascination I had about how you could hurt or how you could heal using the same system. We've just asked Amy basically to be the volunteer here to show roughly what I do. So I have treated Amy in the past. She got an injury through sports, so Amy does a lot of fitness work. She's got a lot of injuries. What she did get, Amy, was a really bad rotary cuff injury, and how I basically solved it was a combination of acupuncture and Tuina. So basically what we done was, a lot of the injury for Amy was in and around the scapula. So what we would have done was, we just done what they call ashy point needling. So it's just kind of localized needling. So I found where the trigger points were, or the hard spots, and basically just putting in a 1 Sun needle just like so. So a 1 Sun needle is roughly about 1 inch. So it's a measurement we use in Chinese medicine. So I just put in basically a row of needles all around the scapula. Then I also put some needle just here in the gallbladder point. When she was turned over, I put some needles then in the large intestine points on the shoulder and down into the elbow. And then I would have also done was some bladder points on the back of the leg, which are in and around here, which are very, very useful as well for any shoulder or a lower back injury. So it worked very well. You know, the acupuncture, you can have anything over 300 points to work on, and there is a lot of knowledge needed, and you really need to do your research, and you need to know how best to use these acupuncture points. But with the herbs, it's an absolute minefield, you know. There's thousands of herbs, and you really need to know what each individual herb does in terms of the property, the toxicity of it, you know, the dosage and so on. But then you put one herb with another herb and all of a sudden you've changed the whole chemical makeup. So, you know, doing formula has been a lifetime study, and I suppose I'll always be learning. You will see here in my herbal display, we've got about 200 individual herbs here in store, and as I say, there's many more, but these would be about 200 of the most popular or the most commonly used. All of these herbs will be ground down into powders, and we encapsulate the powder into a vegan capsule. It's 100% natural as well. It's made from a cotton extract. So everything that you will put into your body is natural. I suppose what separates us from a lot of the bigger companies is, not all, but some of the bigger companies do use bonders and binders. So it's essentially packers within the medicine. So they'll use things like magnesium, starch, they'll use things like that to bond the pill and keep it together. And I suppose we're very unique in the sense that we're the only herbal pharmacy in Ireland actually doing this. There is people here within the island of Ireland selling herbs, but generally they're just kind of a middleman that will buy stuff in pre-packaged either from China or Hong Kong or whatever, Taiwan. So you get what you get. And this is why I think a lot of doctors, Chinese medicine doctors, come to ourselves.
I had the privilege of meeting who I call my Sifu Kurt from Dragon Style Herbs in Herbal College, traditional Chinese medicine herbal college. We had to study pharmacology, so the science behind everything here.
There's tons of herbal stuff that I never even knew about. Like, I thought I was good at my herbals until I came here, and I feel like I know absolutely nothing, but I guess it's still a good thing to feel as well, because you know that there's more to learn there as well.
As you're working with herbs and worrying about contraindications to medications, it was very important that I had somebody to run things past that was fully educated and had good experience. And I was privileged to meet a very kind, compassionate and highly intelligent man called Kurt, who runs his own herbal centre and shop in Dublin city centre.
So I'm very, very happy to come and visit this place like whenever I can. I will do it every week, but hopefully it's going to be for a lifetime. And I'll do my best not to try to change Kurt, which he's an amazing practitioner. He's very kind, and he usually talks to his customers, and he's trying to fix not only the body issues but the mental issues as well.
The energy points on the body, or the pressure points, were very important in terms of freeing up the stagnation or the blockage in the body. And that basically, it was all about getting the body back into harmony, getting that yin and yang, and you know, the harmony within the body.
I've had the privilege and experience of seeing people's lives change from being on herbal remedies, me being one of them. I'm at an age, unfortunately, where life is changing, and I had to look for alternative ways instead of using clinical science, which has its place because of a background in cancer in the family. So I am privileged to say we've managed to basically change my life by helping me back to where I was, but better.
So this is what I want to say. They are great people, and I'm very happy to be here all the time.
Yeah, just looking forward to my days being spent here in work experience. I don't think I could have picked a better place.
Yeah, so really the Kung Fu and the TCM is, you know, it's been linked forever, I suppose, and you know, I think it stood me well that I had a strong martial background in terms of becoming a good TCM practitioner. This is Amy here, so Amy's my partner in crime and partner in life. So Amy does a lot of treatments here herself. She's very, very good at holistic treatments and energy work, Reiki and things like that. She's also an excellent herbalist, so Amy does look after the shelves in terms of these. So these are what we call the classics. So these will fill prescriptions for Chinese medicine doctors. So not going to mean a lot to the general public, but the Chinese medicine doctors, they will know about famous formula that we have here, such as Gui Pi Wan, Ba Zhen Tang. You can see the storage of our loose herbs here. Again, these are made from 100% the herb and really quality essential oils. You'll see some tinctures here that have been brewing quite a while, and again, these are very useful, very potent, do different things. So really we have a good selection, and we also do things like, this is the Didad brewing, so I always have about 15 to 20 litres on brew. This one's been brewing since September 21, so it's already over a year, so it's going to be very potent when it is bottled up. We make a range of psoriasis and eczema cream, which is really, really useful. Works very quickly. We've had a lot of success with it. No steroid in it, which I suppose is what separates it from the Western medicine ointments or creams. So very safe, very natural, and works. And that's the most important thing. I start really learning about the formula and how to put them together, and what each individual herb done, what the properties of it were, and what the effects on the body were. And really, I suppose, the do's and don'ts of each herb. So don't put this herb with that herb, for instance. Didad gel is what I use after breaking for the hands. As I say, it's very, very good. Strengthens the bone, strengthens the sinew, strengthens the tissue, deals with bruising. These two that we're focusing in on here now are from my range as well. So this one is red palm oil. Okay, so you can see there in the tincture. Very, very good oil. A lot of essential oils and a lot of herbs like long shui and hong hua, so a lot of blood movers, dragon blood and things like that. This is my Wulok oil, again another one of my patent oils. You'll see it's a bit of a darker colour. So again, this has a lot of good herbs in it, like san chi and herbs that like yan hou shu, that basically nourish actually nerves. Because a lot of people, when they do hand conditioner for years, they can damage the peripheral nerves. So it's very important that you keep the nerve healthy and fine as well, yeah? So really, I love the herbalism. I've had amazing results with people with, you know, very chronic illness and what have you. And yeah, really the herbs is my main passion. So I would say nearly everybody that comes to me for acupuncture or tuina always goes away with some herbs in hand. And I find that the coming together of the two healing modalities just works brilliant. Yeah, so really I suppose that's my journey, and that's really where I'm at with Dragon Style TCM. Sui Jianzu, Yuan Shi, Sui Jianzu, I suppose to explain the altar really, and this is my home, so welcome to my home. And I suppose this really shows that, you know, what we've been doing and what we've been filming is, well, for me anyway, and what it should be, it's a lifestyle. So it's not just a pastime, it's not just a hobby, it's something that is integrated fully into my life for a long time now. So obviously I have the Dragon Style, I have the Chinese medicine practice, and then I have my Taoism practice. The altar here, just to explain it really quickly, this deity here at the top, this is Yu Huan, or in the West I suppose some people might know him as the Jade Emperor. So I suppose he's basically the god of heaven and earth. So he controls everything in the universe. And then under that we have Kwang Gung, which is on most Chinese altars. So obviously General Kwang being the kind of the patron or the god of Kung Fu, he's, you know, the god of martial art in China, or some people would say the god of war. He's the guy that is always going to be on the altars in Kung Fu skills. And then underneath that again, we have Kuan Yin. Kuan Yin again, as I said, in my school and in my clinic, she represents kind of love, compassion, loyalty, just being a genuine good person. So she's kind of all the kind of soft, the yin energy, all the yin energy. And then on this side here we have Lao Shu, who was, I suppose, the man responsible for creating Taoism. He came up with what became the Bible, I suppose, for Taoists, the air version of the Bible, which is called the Tao Te Ching. And then on this side, always on the altar for any Dragon Style practitioner, is the dragon. So us is the representation of energy. So he is the qi, he is the yang energy. He is very spiritual in terms of Chinese culture. I suppose in terms of Taoism itself, a lot of people wouldn't have heard of it, or if they did, they wouldn't really know what it is. It's a philosophy, it is a religion, and then I suppose, yeah, it's all about the Tao. So the Tao, as they say, is the foundation of everything, and that's what we're kind of struggling, I suppose, to understand. So the Tao really is flowing with the universe, being at one with the world, you know, not over questioning, just letting things naturally happen. This piece here is what they call a talisman. It's like a window to another dimension. That's what it's seen as in Taoism. So it's basically something that will open up and bring in the good energy, bring in the deities and fight everybody in that's good. It is duality, as I said, but it's not strictly black and white and what have you, because there's always a bit of black and white and there's always a bit of white and black. So that's why you have the small pieces, which looks like an eye, but actually it's kind of more a seed. So you can see a seed of yang within yin and vice versa. And just like that, you'll have what we call the lesser, so the lesser yang, the lesser yin, the greater yang, the greater yin. And what that simply means is that day obviously becomes night, we all understand that. But there's that moment in time where it's not quite bright out, but it's not quite dark out. And that's when the energies or the yin and yang are interwoven and they're changing over. Very important in Taoist culture. Definitely goes hand in hand with the Chinese medicine, because the whole concept of flowing with the world and the universe and having balance that comes from the yin and yang, that principle is very, very important in Chinese medicine.
This is a traditional Taoist robe. You'll see my partner Amy is wearing one as well, and we wear these every evening when we do the Taoist chanting. San Mei Guan Yin Xian Mu. San Mei Guan Yin Xian Mu. So actually, Christian, one of the things I forgot to mention was, just in terms of Yu Huan, today being a very special day actually for honouring Yu Huan, because it's the Chinese New Year today, the day of the start of the Chinese New Year. So today is the 22nd of January 2023. And really there's, as I said, there's many deities in Taoism. So there's one called Sao Shang, and it roughly translates to the kitchen god. And what's said is that he comes back on the Chinese New Year to report back to Yu Huan in the higher realm. He reports back on basically what people have been doing and how the place looks. So really that's why in Chinese culture it's very important to clean everything, have everything spotless in terms of the home, the altars, the kitchen, everything has to be really good and well presented. There will be offerings given then to Yu Huan as well in terms of food, generally oranges and things like that. And that's basically just to make sure that he bestows you with the good energy. Nice, eh?
Lovely.
What else would you be doing on a Sunday afternoon? The knife hand. So we come in this way. And what you're looking to do is to build the denseness of the hand. So you're looking to build the pads on the hand. The metacarpal is running up along the hand here, yeah? And we want to get this pad really strong. When that's solid, then you're at a stage really where you can start using it strongly and you can break things around, okay? You build all this power here, lots of tendon strength, lots of power, lots of conditioning. And then you go and tape the wrists and you tape the fingers and so on, and you have no strength here. So 9 times out of 10, when you get into a street fight, boom, you punch something and the wrist goes, okay? Or the knuckle goes. So you'll notice with Clive, he's sticking the fist, what we call sticking it. He's not rebounding, he's absorbing the power. We're gonna hit and retreat. So hit and retreat. So it's very different to the punches. There's no follow through. It's hit it and get out of there. We do use rakes across the eyes as well. The objective here is, as nasty as it sounds, is to scratch the eyeball, okay? And to make him not want to fight on. These things take a lot of pressure. I think a house brick under a press can take about 2,000 pounds of pressure. Okay, go. Stop. Good. Good. Hoi. Good. Back leg. Lock it. Good. Power on the front leg. Good. Okay, go. Come back. Good. Okay, and finish. Well done. What we're going to talk about now is the multiple attacks. So Lung Ying is particularly good at fending off more than one opponent. If it comes to unarmed combat or even in a street situation, you're going to have to know how to move. Hence is why Lung Ying makes great use of the stance walk. So we've got two big guys here and they're going to approach me and they're going to come in, they're going to try and fight me. Generally what happens is they're going to try and cut off my options. They're going to cut off my angles. So the two of them are going to move in this way and one of them's going to make the first approach and I'm going to get hit and then the other one's going to hit me and so on and so on. And within fairly quick space of time I'm going to be on the ground, I'm going to be badly hurt. So it's all well and good with the modern day pursuits, learning your BJJ and all that, but the reality is, well, in my mind it's only really useful in a sport context. If you go to ground on the street, chances are it's not going to be very good for you. I'm going to step this way and you see what happens now. I've lined them up and this is exactly where I want to be. Just with that simple step, I've lined these two guys up. So I've limited his options of attacking me. Now he will make ground out eventually, but what I'm going to try and do is get Clive to attack me very quickly. So once Clive throws the punch and I come in here and block it and cow peck or whatever, now I'm in a situation where I have one of them controlled and the other guy is probably still behind him, and even if he's not, even if he moves off to the side, even if he readjusts, that's okay because I have this guy now at my mercy. So what I'm going to do very quickly is use him, push him in on top of him. You see it? So I can hit him, I can kick him, okay? I have them to a situation where I want. We've loads of options from here. I can push Clive into him, right? You can see, so Clive's a big guy, I can push him into him. I can use the Lung Ying stance to push him in, okay? I can have Clive here, I can break the arm very quickly with what we call a sauce out. Now Clive's not going to be that resistant, okay? He's going to be in a lot of pain. So pretty much now I've got a weight that I can use and I can use it whatever way I want. I can pull Clive back, so we use back steps. I can take Clive to ground, you see here, and then I can deal with Aaron. There's loads of scenarios where I can use Clive's body weight against Aaron, okay? So we're looking to line them up. But if Aaron's a martial artist, which he is, and if Clive's a good martial artist, which he is as well, they're going to be wired to a lot of this stuff. So this is why we have some power steps. If they know that I'm trained and they see me move to step out of it, they're going to circle. So the minute they circle, then my step to line them up is redundant. So in that scenario, if I'm here and very quickly I think I'm going to step and I see him move, well then I'll do what we call the lunging mat. Because in one step, you can literally from here, watch, you see how much room I make. So we can hightail out of here to the point where I bring them back in on me. So I want them to come at this angle. You don't have the luxury of standing here if Clive punched, boom, 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 boom. You don't have this luxury. You don't have that time. So every hit has to be not fatal, because obviously we don't want to kill anybody, but you have to do damage. Okay, so basically what we're going to do is Clive's going to attack. I'm going to come here, stop him, boom, in here, boom, okay, boom, the arm goes, okay. Now purposely hit the bicep, because obviously I don't want to destroy his joint, but you can imagine the power that comes up with the lift on the stance, and we hit him, okay. From here we wrap, we get close to the body, we put both legs parallel back, and Clive's over. Now Clive's a big guy. Generally what we can do from there is, you see this, we can roll him over, You can see the way I'm holding him. We can reposition ourselves. And you see this? So we can manipulate this joint, okay? And we can push down on the arm. So yeah, he's tapped.
In terms of students as well, I've had some good achievements. I mean, I've brought a lot of students up to a good level in Lung Ying where they be well competent, to a level where I'm happy enough to bring them to Hong Kong or China and let them perform or demo over there. And I'd be proud to say these are my students. I take that very seriously.
And I'll block here. Now the ideal thing is I'll block here, dead in the arm, then we come, boom. This one is our cow pec. So what we'll do with this is we explode the bicep. Okay, so he's gonna completely, the bicep is gonna go, it's gonna bust. Right, he's gonna be left with a nasty injury. Anybody who's ever seen a bust bicep, black and blue from top to bottom, very painful injury, okay? From here we control the joint. So we hold the joint, control it. We step in, and you see here, we just kind of squat, okay? And all we need when we control this joint is the pop of the leg. And you see he's gone again. From here, come around here. So from here, this is the position he's left in. So what I like to do is this. You see this? Right? You feel that, Clive? So again, we yank that joint. So this joint and the shoulder joint are gonna pretty much be in trouble. If he's a big guy and he's still giving out, but then we like to drive this into the pressure point, just under the lat. So you see here, this way, he's not going to give you too much grief, even if he's a big, strong guy.
Yeah, I've always preferred the quality over quantity rule. I never want too many students because it's very hard to teach them. I'm very lucky that this was never a commercial enterprise for me. I'm not interested in making big money off martial arts, never was. I don't think you actually can anyway, but I had me working life, and this for me is, it's what I do, it's a passion.
As an instructor, I'm pretty easy going, but the only time you will ever see me get a bit cross is when I feel there's somebody with an ego and trying to hurt another student in the class. Then we'll sort it out, okay? I can have 2 students here, or I can have 22 students here, or I can have 102. For me, as you say, quality over quantity. So if I have 10 people here training on a weeknight, I'm more than happy. If Clive is a trained fighter and I'm a trained fighter, the chances of me not getting hit or taking some punishment, some damage off Clive, is very slim. Even if I'm very fast and I block everything, okay, and I hit him and he doesn't go down, the chances are he's going to hit me back, okay? This is where conditioning comes in, okay? If he's not conditioned, okay, the chances are with adrenaline, when he punches, block, punch, block, 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 whatever, right? When he's coming in with the adrenaline, he'll take the first 4 or 5 movements. After that, his brain will send signals. Feck, this guy's arms are really solid. Now I'm hurting. Now he's not thinking about his objective, which is to win the fight. He's starting to think in the survival mode, which means he's already lost. Okay, he's defeated. If you go into any fight believing the guy's gonna beat you, you'll be simple as, okay? Most of the students don't like this, but it's a necessity, and we'll explain that in a minute. So we'll come in, it's muscle to muscle, so not too bad, and then up here, and we'll strike and strike here. So we come 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, like so. Clive is my most senior student. He's over from Scotland for the weekend, over from Aberdeen to train. He's got a lot of martial arts, big background in martial arts. Lung Ying always condition the forearms, we make extensive use of them. We want the guy to know, so when Clive punches, boom, we want him to know he's being blocked. We want him to feel it down right into his toes, okay? That's why we do it. All the extra body conditioning is so when Clive does get punches in, I can take them, okay? We do have some extreme levels of conditioning, okay? Let's just put it that way. So I'm gonna get Clive to show it on me. So first I'm going to do the arms, okay? So what we do is we use bamboo to condition the joints. It's not for the faint-hearted. It's not something you need to be scared of because it's not something you're going to start doing when you join Lung Ying. It's something you're going to have to wait many a year till your conditioning is at a level where you're very strong and you can resist it. Now, so if I put the arms up, okay, yep. So, yeah, you can go a bit harder, Clive, no problem. So Clive's gonna beat the arms like so, yeah? So, pretty simple. Now, come over to this one, Clive. So we do, unfortunately, do the softer parts as well. Okay, so we do the inside of the arms, yeah? So like so, okay? That's it, Clive, good. So this gives a nice kind of whipping motion, okay? Really test the arms. We're basically gonna open up the do channel up the back, which is very important for getting your qi going or your energy flowing. Be careful doing it, so I don't advocate anybody copying this, because if people have emotional disturbances or blockages from trauma in the past, whatever it may be, this will result in them breaking down in front of you. So they will cry, okay? You will lift all that energy, so just be very, very careful. It's very extreme. In the case of people with trauma, you need to lift that qi much slower, okay? You need to release it, slow release it, so to speak. We stand like so, stay focused, keep the breathing, keep the qi flow. Yeah, you can go harder, Clive, up on the lats, yeah, that's it. So you can see here, as Clive's beating, it's not a problem. We keep the body conditioned. Everybody's looking basically to get what they call sacred power or shock power in Kung Fu. So it's that whipping power, that kind of spring power, or gang we call it, okay? Very strong whipping power in your punch. The spring in the hands rather than rigidness, okay? None of this hard power. Yeah. So release the tendons as a whip. Much better, much better. We leave the arms loose. If a guy has fast hands, when he punches in a fight, he's not gonna bust, he's not gonna break, he's gonna tear. So he's literally gonna rip skin. If his hands are fast, he will rip skin. So it's a very dangerous thing to learn. Just short, so no big swing, just from here.
Anything that you're truly interested in, you can get fairly good at. You know, you put the hours in, you put the time in, you have the interest, it'll happen.
So something we forgot to cover when we were over in the martial arts school was what we do in terms of conditioning the hands. So obviously we do all the banging of the bags and the strengthening, what they call the orden fist practice. But the very foundation of that, the very start of that really, is basic push-ups. This is called the 5 fingers, so the 5-finger push-ups, so you're straightening the fingers. And we'd start off just in a press-up position and we just kind of up and down. So nice straight press-ups. And then normally what you'd be doing is probably about 20 of those. That's what you're looking to build to. You can start off simply by just putting pressure on, weight, build it up. Then you can start off just by holding if you don't have the power to press. You make sure you're never, you don't use the whole of the fist, you just use the first 2 knuckles, which is the bit that you're going to be punching with. So you hold up on the first 2 knuckles like so, and you press all the way down, parallel to the ground, and then you come up. And then you would have the chop press ups. You keep the fingers up in the air, so you're literally getting the pad of the hand on the ground. And from there, again, you're just pressing. On the chop one, very difficult is to jump to the wrist. So what we want to do is get ourselves up and high, press down, wrist, chop, wrist, chop, wrist, chop, like so. And just make sure you get that motion of jumping from one to the other and strengthen this wrist. As you go, you're going to want to look at things like doing 4 fingers. You're taking the thumb away. By that you're making the press up very difficult because the thumb holds most of the strength. From here, you're up on the fingers like so. You want to spread the fingers out wide, keep them good and strong, and you stand up like so, as you can see, and then you press, so you hold, and you're up and you're down. You stand up on the actual wrists like so, and you press down. So not easy.
We also use the ridge hand. So this used to be one that I was, I'm not going to say famous, but one that I was noted for doing in breaking demos was the ridge hands, because through years and years of conditioning and strengthening the body, I've built quite a large, I suppose, muscle here on the ridge of the hand. And I used to use this a lot to break through bricks and tiles and so on, this way and so on. Very difficult press up to do. You need to go wide on the arms. So you need to put the arms out and you stand up and you press. And you can hold in this position as well. And you're going to build that joint. Just build this up the best you can. It doesn't matter if you get 1, it doesn't matter if you get 2, it doesn't matter if you get 10. It's all a progression. You build it up, you build it up, until you have the wrist straightened and you have the hand straightened. We want to walk where we take a finger away each time. So obviously down from the 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay? And what we're going to do is, we're going to do it in a press up. So we press 4, 3, and then take the finger away. 2 is obviously a strain, and like so. You know, whatever the keyboard warrior that will say, sure, a brick doesn't hit back, and that's very, very true. Nobody ever said a brick does hit back. But what it does do is instill some confidence into the practitioner that he has the power he's been training for, that he knows when he hits something that it will give and it will go. And that's all it really is. It's only a confirmation of power. So yeah, as a Chinese medicine practitioner, you know, we really do have a lot of strings to our bow. And I suppose, if, you know, as an acupuncturist and a herbalist, you treat many ailments, many illnesses. You know, you treat anything from a chronic illness to an acute injury and what have you. Another thing I suppose I have become quite well known for is the Tuina medical massage. So generally what we do with the Tuina is we'll start with a bit of kneading. So that's basically just kind of warming the skin. Now, I always use kind of a deep pressure. Sometimes it can be a little bit much for people if they have a particularly sore injury, so I might have to back off a little bit, but this is generally what we start with, this kind of a kneading action. Then I'll start using the thumbs and the fingers. So in this case, I'll be pushing on the scapula, getting actually in under the scapula. So you can see the skin there already. You can see a kind of an erythema coming up, but basically a localized spreading of the blood, getting the blood to the surface. So I'd have a lot of people into me that I would treat for musculoskeletal injuries. So that'd be, you know, backs, hips, knees, ankles, elbow joints, shoulder joints, a lot of rotary cuff type stuff. So I'd have a lot of sports people in, people with, you know, ranging from, you know, rock climbers, the swimmers, the, you know, weightlifters, all that type of thing, and generally get very good results. And again, that makes a kind of a massive link with the Kung Fu. So what I realised very early on, even during my training days, and then definitely in the clinical practice, was that having the strong hands that I do from years and years of Kung Fu really stood me well too, because Tuina, to be done well and to be very effective, has to be done on a very deep level. The idea and the objective here is basically to get the blood moving in the area, to break up any possible scar tissue, to get the body fluid, the lymph moving, and just basically to get rid of what we call stagnation in Chinese medicine, which is kind of the root of evil, I suppose. It's what makes the, you know, the area get stiff and basically stuck. So that's hence the term frozen shoulder. So we'll do this kind of roll and motion, and you can see the skin getting quite warm already. You can see all the localized reddening there where the blood is coming to the surface. So you're getting right down into all the deeper levels of the myofascia and the tissues below, and you know, you're trying to bring blood supply into, you know, tendon and ligament that otherwise has a very limited supply. So yeah, having strong hands and a really tight, you know, strong grip and strong fingers and, you know, strong wrists has really stood me well in that I can do the therapy very well, so I can apply all the techniques and get a very quick result. The only other thing you might see in here, which is probably a little bit shocking, is, so I'm going to put my glasses down for this one. If I'm not busy and I get 5 or 10 minutes between slots but I'm generally busy, well then you'll see Kurt doing his Kung Fu. So I might be standing here in the shop, it wouldn't be uncommon just to see me doing a few moves, a few cow pecks, a few boy games, a few Sam tongues. And that would be a fairly natural or a fairly normal thing to see within Hong Kong or China, within the clinics, because most of the masters, as I say, are Kung Fu Sifus, and even some of them will be teaching a student within the clinic while people are getting that therapy. So I've tried to keep everything very, very traditional and very in keeping with what I've seen over the years. So again, the Kung Fu, having strong hands and strong muscles, and you know, having the tendons and ligaments and the joints built up well, means I've been able to do Twin Arm for a long time and have no ill effects. All the joints are good, the hands are still strong, I don't get tired at the end of the days in the hands, and you know, so it works very well. And I suppose they did our medicine that I spoke about, they did our gel, that's been paramount as well to keeping the hands right. If you're doing a full conditioning session, I was just here on Friday and done a full 1 hour conditioning on the hands, you're going to use a lot of gel, okay? So you're going to use it pre and post, so before and after. You must rub lots of this in, and what it does is it stops any blood stagnation. So again, being a Chinese medicine doctor, I have a real appreciation for how the body can basically, you know, get injured and how it doesn't heal. So you're going to break up blood stagnation, you're going to make sure the chi is not disturbed, that the chi is flowing. And also you're going to make sure that you get no calcium deposits, so basically no bone spores, no calluses on the knuckles or any part of the bone structure. So you will see a lot of martial artists are, in my estimation, not too clever, that will show off and say, look at me calloused knuckles. Yeah, that's all well and good until you ask them to do anything that takes a bit of dexterity, and you'll realise very quickly that the guys are, you know, either very early stage arthritis or badly stung with arthritis. It's from lack of use of the gel and from lack of knowledge of how to condition. Very important. So I've been teaching steadily since I've been about early 20s. I've been teaching the martial arts or the lunging style, and since that it's always stayed with me. I've always taught in that way. I've always made sure that my students are of a certain caliber, I suppose, so you won't take on people that, you know, you might think might be undesirable and might want the style for the wrong reasons. So we're very careful in who we select to do the style, because it is pretty dangerous, and if it's trained right, it could be quite damaging. So you've got to make sure you teach the right people, and that they know the art is there for the reason of the art, and the power is there when needed. So we want to be literally a life and death situation. Why is the style so realistic? At first it was a style that came from the temple, from the Taoist temples, okay, from Lo Fo Shan mountain. And after that, when Lam Yi Kwai took the style, he was the first lay person to learn it, he actually got employed by the Chinese government to teach the military. So basically to teach the army how to fight in Wanpo Academy. To become a military instructor, you can't be a BS artist, okay? You're gonna have to show the real stuff. People that are trained in the military, soldiers and that, it's a matter of life and death to them. It's not a hobby, it's not, you know, a game. So you have to show them stuff that'll work in reality. There was a guy called Wong Lo Fu, and he was basically a northern tiger master, so Tiger Wong. And what he done basically was he took exception, I suppose, to Lam Yi Kwai coming into the academy. He was this younger guy that everybody's talking about, and he was established there for many years. So he made it difficult for Lam. So when Lam Yi Kwai got wind of this, naturally he had to deal with it. So what he done was, he said to the superiors, okay, the way to sort this out is, he says, I'll challenge him. And anyway, Lam Yi Kwai fought Tiger Wong at the time and beat him very easily, okay, because the lunging technique is very, very dangerous. So he beat him, and hence then after that, the people in the academy and the people out further afield who knew about the battle started calling him Tiger. They gave him the honorary title, so it became Tiger Lam. His second son, Lam Chang Gong, who would be my great grandmaster, he started teaching the military in Whampoa. What we tend to do is, rather than just pulling down with the forearm, we tend to use the waist. So you'll see a different level of power already, yeah? If he's still too strong, because he's a big guy, what we do is use the sinking power. Remember I was telling you? So we come down. So you see this? So now all of a sudden, this little short 2-inch movement with the sinking power, now I've got him where I want. So now I can literally and cow peck. This is the tiger fork. We're not meant to say in the style that we have a favourite weapon, but hey, this is my favourite weapon. I really like this, I like how it flows. It's generally a weapon that was used by the bigger guys in the style. Why? Because it's very top heavy, very powerful, a lot of kind of circular, relatively big movements for lunging on it. That take a lot of power to kind of wield the weapon. So yeah, this I like. It probably suits my body shape, my body mechanics. The idea behind the spin was basically for trapping. I'll show you the best I can. If a guy had a pole, for argument's sake, and he's fighting me, well, I'm going from here in a trapping motion. Look at this now, look, see? So basically what happens is, as I turn this, so we basically and take the pole from his grasp. And you'll see here we have a number of artwork as well, the snake here. So the style itself is based on 5 animals. So the main one being the dragon. We also have a snake in it, so we do a number of snake forms. We have a leopard, or the panther, the black panther. We have the eagle, is another animal in it, and then we have the tiger. So it's a 5 animal system, very effective. So I've had a kind of an interesting journey, you might say. Right, starting back from my background when I was a kid. I started martial arts when I was 9 years old. So I'm 47 now, so it's quite some time back. As I said, almost 40 years. And in that time, I've amassed a lot of good skills, I think, and a lot of interesting stories that people might find of interest. This is just sitting here, but it's quite old, as you can see. And this would have been issued by my grandmaster in London, K.C. Sang, so Kung Chu Sang. And you'll see a date here. It's pretty faded now, but I think it's the 20th of August 1994. And this would have been presented to me. So that's a long time ago anyway. So it's almost 30 years ago, and this was for doing the lunging morkyu, which is kind of the signature form or the benchmark form in the style, very important form. So that was issued on behalf of the Dragon Sign Kung Fu Association UK. So piece of history right there. Master Kung Chu Sang was the first Sifu of Lung Ying to reintroduce the style of Dragon style Kung Fu to the United Kingdom. Having left Hong Kong to move to the UK in the early 1970s, Sifu Sang quickly became one of the best known Kung Fu masters across the UK. Teaching and performing Lung Ying Dragon style Kung Fu over the past 40 plus years, Master Sang could be regularly seen on the streets of London's Chinatown, leading his Kung Fu students during the Chinese New Year celebrations. Master Sang is also responsible for spreading Dragon style Kung Fu to the island of Ireland, and is the Grand Master of Sifu Kurt Scott. Yeah, so this is the old stomping ground. This is where I learned a lot of my craft in terms of line dance and martial arts from my Qigong, who we're going to meet now. So I worked for my Qigong when I was over here. So he was in the food business, delivering to the restaurants, fruit and veg and meats, and so we used to do deliveries up and down here in Chinatown and further afield. So that's where I got to know a lot of the Kung Fu guys, and I suppose make friendships that last a lifetime, as they say.
Hello and a very warm welcome from the heart of London's West End. We're here at Leicester Square to welcome in the Chinese New Year. It's the year of the pig. You've just seen the dragons dancing. There'll be lots of dancing, music and mime going on later on. Then the dragons will leave Leicester Square in search of restaurateurs and Chinese shopkeepers. And then every shop they visit, they're going to be very good luck for the coming year.
Ah, Sigong. Hello, Sigong. You didn't mean the golden dragon, did you? The one I met you in last time? Oh, the golden dragon. Yeah. It's the golden dragon, the one I met you and Peggy in last time, yeah? Yeah, I'm outside now. I'm outside. You on your way? Oh, okay, we're coming now. Okay? Bye. Yeah, it's the golden dragon, because the Dragon Inn was just down there. Yeah. Can't see the problem. Oh yeah. Ah, he's over there. Hi, yeah. Nice to meet you.
Patrick.
Hi, yeah, Patrick. He's a Christian. Christian. That's Sigong Christian. Okay. That's for you, Sigong. Gift.
Don't get me in trouble.
Yeah. Yumcha.
Let me drink the tea. In the party, they push me they do some things.
Very good, Sigong, yeah.
You want to see the video?
Yeah. And video from his, like this.
You could need to pay for it, okay? Before doing anything.
Thank you. This is my Sigong is performing at the Chinese New Year party, yeah?
Awesome. Okay.
The phone is very cool, yeah? What phone is this?
Oppo.
What?
Oppo, made in China, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Not made in Japan. 叫謝唔使啦。
恭喜發財 is for a Happy New Year greeting.
You need a job, Chris? You see, they need some stuff. Some stuff. I come over here in 1975. Yeah, before I only know few person I know, yeah. But after 9 months to 1 year, and then I start know most of the people in Chinatown, and then I start run a Kung Fu club. But first, I got a student, the first few students, they live in Kent, in Chatham. One of the students, his father got a restaurant. The basement is not using it. So I used their basement as a Kung Fu class space.
When and where did you start the style of Lung Yang Qigong?
Oh, it's about 1970 something. That's in Hong Kong. When my Sifu first started the club, about 3 months I joined the club. Yeah, so we are the first few students in the club from my Sifu. Yeah, the first from Lam Chan Guang, yeah. His first student to start his own club. Teaching in Hong Kong, Yuen Long.
So he was the very first?
Yes.
Under Lam Chan Gong. Oh, very good, okay.
I think not really first, it's the first one.
One of the first.
First
one
one,
of the
yeah,
first.
one
yeah.
of the
Very
first.
good, yeah. So we're going way back, yeah. Based on that, what was the training like in the early days under Chu Chung? Was it really rigorous? Was it long?
At that time we are in school, yeah? So after come back from school, after the dinner, we go to the club with Patrick in the night. Sometimes 7 days a week, sometimes six days a week. Yeah.
In terms of the style, how would you describe the style of Lung Yin Kung Fu?
More you put in it, and more you get out of it. That's so simple. And most important things, the Lung Yin style is the stance when you first start. You're moving forward and step backward. It teaches you the best way to do it, the fast way. Yeah. But our style is both hand, elbow, so it's on front of your chest, never beside your hip. It's always on front of your chest. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
And you want to do the punch, it's more faster.
Yeah.
Faster than from here. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, because you got a shorter route.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your stance strong, your punch is more powerful. As simple as that. Not a shortcut.
No shortcut. You've got to put the work in there.
Yeah. Sometimes somebody may want to challenge. Yeah, they just wonder it's a real kung fu or not. Yeah. But you can tell them or show them some form, some simple technique. They won't challenge you.
They know just to see
yes,
it. Yeah. They know to see it's real. Yeah. Very good. Yeah, I mean, and again, the reason why I asked that is because I know from my own background. I mean, I moved to London. I think I was 17, maybe 18. I can't remember. I think 17. So probably about 1992, I came over here.
Yeah, around that time.
Around that, and I ended up working for yourself. And the first thing I was struck by was that, and this is not to be negative on any of the Chinese community, but I noticed for yourself you were much more open and much more chatty with a lot of the English people. You were always one that tried to integrate into the community and the society, and hence why I think you were so successful, because you tried to get on with everybody, which I think is a nice thing, you know. So, Sigong, again, just in terms of the Lung Yin Kung Fu system, what does it mean to you, and why do you see it as important in your life? Why do you see the style as important?
Learning kung fu is not just learn to fight. It's learn to build strong mentality. That's the most important thing. It teaches you good value and respect. It helps you to be a person of good character. We got a Chinese saying, yeah? It's 君子養三拳. It means I let you punch me 3 times and then I start to fight back. That's about their mentality. Yeah.
So what Sigong said was you had the Sam Kyun 3 fists. It means that you come with 3 movements, or 3 fists, 3 kicks. Doesn't matter. Whatever the movement is, we will step off for the 3, watch. Hopefully it will stop. If it doesn't stop, we have studied you. Then we will retaliate. And usually the objective is we will end the fight from escalating very quick. Very quick, one move and we will.
Yeah,
we'll
correct.
stop.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah. How would you say the martial arts scene has changed over the years? From when you started off as a Kung Fu master?
You're talking about the traditional, yeah? The Sifu and the student. It's like father and son. The relationship is very close, like family. But nowadays, some of the master change it to be something like a business. You pay me the school fee, you come to learn. If I don't like your style, I change the other style. It's no such relationship. I mean the close relationship. It's like a business. You pay and take. I take and pay. As simple as that. And we got a Chinese saying, 一日為師，一生為父。一日為師 is one day your Sifu, the whole life is your father. You translate to English, it's like 一日為師，永世為父，or 一生為父。Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfecto?
Yeah, brilliant.
Arigato. Classe. Masi.
Brilliant, brilliant.
Masi gugu.
Fantastic.
Brilliant.
Yeah, brilliant.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
Okay, yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah, very
awesome. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for
Thank you
cooking
for your
it.
time.
Thanks, Egon. Thanks very much.
I'll get my...
This logo is the traditional logo from my lineage, my family line of Lung Ying, or dragon style as it translates as. This is our original logo. So this logo would have been the one that my great grandmaster, which I call my Si Toi Gong, Mr. Chu Chung, or Sifu Chu Chung, this would have been his logo. So I'm very, very proud to have this here in the clinic. The dragon for me is something that was very natural in me since I was a kid, and what I mean by that, and we could probably tie it back into the Chinese medicine, everything in Chinese medicine, and indeed in Taoism and Chinese culture, was all focused on yin and yang, and I've spoken about that quite a lot, but that balance is very important. Some people on this side of the world misrepresent it in the sense that they say yin and yang is two opposites, or it's black, it's white, it's good, it's bad, it's male, it's female. And why that's technically not completely untrue, it's not true either. So yes, there's the duality within yin and yang, but it's a little bit deeper than that, and you'd really need to study it. But the dragon, in a sense, to me would be the yang energy, and I've always been yang energy, very strong yang energy. So anybody that understands Kung Fu or Chinese medicine will understand what I mean by that. There's a couple of things I'm very proud of in life, I have to say. One is my kids, first and foremost. I have one of them studying now to be a Western medicine doctor. He's a highly intelligent kid, and the other two are a little bit younger, and that's one of the things I'm most proud of. Another thing that I'm most proud of is, and it ties in with the yin and yang, is my partner Amy. Have a lot of love for her, love her dearly, and she's given me that balance I need now. I found as I got a little bit older, now that I'm 47 years of age, I found that the yang, it needs to be balanced more. I can't keep doing what I used to do. So I find the yin energy that Amy brings to me is excellent, and it's kind of complementary of how I am, and that's really why we work so well together. So that yin energy has really balanced me. And the last thing that I'm most proud of in life, and I've always been proud of ever since the day I started with it, and who knows, if you're practicing Taoist, maybe this is something I've done on many planes in many lives. The other thing I'm most proud of is to be part of Lung Ying, and to be part of Dragon Style. Really, it has shaped and formed my life from the word go, as I've even, you know, referred to in my martial arts school. It really has shaped everything I've done, every decision I've made, every business decision, every decision on an emotional level, on a spiritual level. The dragon has always been first and foremost in my mind, and how would you handle this, Kurt? You know, so I'm really, really proud to be Dragon Style, and I'm most proud to be part of my lineage coming down from Chu Chung.
I am happy to be part of this documentary. Congratulations to Kurt for this promote our Dragon Star. Thank you.
And yeah.
Keep on rolling, rolling to the river.
Exactly. Yeah.
Chinese is more easier.
So just in case anybody thinks we're faking it, just tip that, Arden. I'm not asking you to break it, but just tip it and just feel how it does to your hand. Yeah, it's painful, isn't it? They're fairly strong, so, but with conditioning, they do eventually go. It takes a bit of training.
Does anyone pay attention to me? My hand is broken.
You hit it too hard. You need some gel. That's going into the documentary now. That's going to be the funny bit. Right, I'm out of here. Did I take all the needles out of you?
Is there any more leg?
Let me see. Jeez, look, I left one in your head. No, I'm only messing. Perfect. Perfect.